Hi, I'm Gordon Engle, and I operated a business in North Carolina without a business license, and well, this is what happened to me.
Police department!
Be clear, be clear.
Police department! Give me a time, y'all. Pay attention on the time.
50 seconds, you're 50. This dog out back. You're at 50.
Police department! We've been calling for 50 seconds.
It's gonna do it. You're at 60.
Hit it. Reach her up, inward.
Reach her up. Take a line there. Go.
Police department! Police department! Hey, we need one more round around here to help. Police department!
I got you. Got it. Yeah. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Clear on that. Hey, look for the additional spaces that you might have to do. That's a weird aspect. That one thing, there's another aspect of that. Hey, you want the beer over there? That's, we can't. I wanted to this is the guy, just on the outside of the house. It's two separate things. You got upstairs here.
Okay, first and three. Y'all make it three? Yeah, let's go there. Yeah, 87. You got it. You got a bug out.
He does. Yeah, check them cameras.
How do I look for you? I need to hide this leg out. Everybody good?
So while I didn't count the number, there were approximately 30 officers in the raid on my home that you just witnessed. The FBI, the United States Postal Inspectors, Cornelius Police Department, the Department of Insurance. They even had a boat in the water. My neighbors told me that. I wasn't here. But I've been in the collection industry in a debt buyer for about 30 years now. So when a bank charges off $1 million in credit cards, they'll sell it to a company like mine for generally about 1% of what's owed, so $10,000. Then I'll take those 500 accounts and I'll split it into 50 pieces or states. and then I'll sell it off state by state to collection law firms. That's what I do. It's a lot like, think about a junkyard. Guy gives you $1,000 for your wreck, and over time, that junkyard is going to turn $1,000. You'll turn into maybe 10,000. Sell the engine here and there. So anyway, you get the general idea. Now, if you get into the actual collection end of the business, as I did 5 years ago, there's a few things you need to know. In 17 states in America, no license is required to collect debt. No license at all. The other 33, some form of licensing is required, a bond, do different things. But North Carolina happens to be the only state where you not only need a license, but if you don't have one, it's an actual criminal felony. Anyway, so if you've heard of Rent-A-Center or Aaron's, those were charged off accounts I was buying during this time period. But here's what's important to note, and I think this is vital here. When you get a credit card or you finance your car or a home, you're obtaining credit. But when you rent a car from the airport or a TV, the rental company still owns that Cadillac. They still own that TV. You don't own it. You're renting it. So there's no credit given. In other words, there's no interest or finance charges. You agree to pay $2,400 at $100 a month, 24 months, period. You can bring the TV back anytime you want. That's right in the contract. And you don't want anything more, you're done. That's it. Why is this important? Well, not paying off a credit card, that's a civil matter, a civil court matter. And what the bank can do, they don't always do it, but sometimes they will. They might sue you, they get a judgment. Depending on the state you're in, garnish your wages, attach your house, put a lien there. In other words, it's just a financial deal. It's money only. Renting something, on the other hand, now that's not civil, that's a criminal matter. It's a felony in every state. It's called stealing. So let's say I go to the Charlotte airport or anywhere and I rent a Hertz Cadillac. I can do it for a week and I decide, I'm not going to bring it back. Well, they're not going to call you and say, Mr. Engle, can you give us another payment? That's not how it works. They're going to file, different states have different codes, but in North Carolina, they're going to file a criminal complaint with the magistrate and the district attorney under code 14-167. Hertz, Avis, Rent-A-Center, Aaron's, they don't need a collection license to do this. They do it all the time. All the rental companies do it. Google, if you want to Google Aaron's theft of rental property sometime, you can kind of see how that works for yourself. It's lots of interesting info there. But anyway, in the collection world, there's two kinds of non-payers. There's the can't payers and there's the won't payers. We don't concern ourselves with the can't pays. If you can't pay, you lost your job. That's not what we do, what anybody does. But the won't pays will go something like this. Hello, Mr. Johnson. My name is Tom. We bought your account. We own all rights and title. It's your Aaron's account. At this point, we own this rented TV. It's our merchandise. But we'd like to know, would you like to resume the payments on your $3,000 rental? And since now I bought it at a discount, well, I'm going to take off $1,000. So it's win-win. Well, can't do it. I don't got a job. Okay. Sorry to hear that. Would you bring the TV back? I can give you the Aaron's store address. Nope. I'm keeping it. That happens all the time. So this is where the story gets interesting. In 10 years, I've bought approximately 1 million, maybe a little under 1 million accounts, individual accounts from Aaron's. A little under half of those accounts never even made their first payment. And I don't think 500,000 people just lost their job the next week, and you can figure out the rest. Occasionally we find these items in pawn shops. That's a different matter. That's also criminal, but another story for another day. But anyway, me now as the legal owner of these accounts, what I did was I decided to file about 100 criminal cases in 18 counties in North Carolina with the blessings of, now check this out, 18 state North Carolina magistrates, 18 judges, and 18 sheriff's offices that went and served the individuals. Now, for the record, errands, they filed 4,000 of these in the last 10 years. Just, it's public information, that's about one a day. They claim to not really be doing this anymore. I'm pretty sure Rent-A-Center does. This is all in public records. But anyway, the point to remember here is when I buy an errands account, I own it. So I step into the shoes of errands is what I do. It's called a bill of sale, much like when you transfer a car title. Now, a lot of people have no idea that this is what happens to most all mortgages. When you get that loan from your local bank and it's sold, retraded, and eventually some trust fund in Iowa, is going to be getting your payment. Now, Bank of America, they're going to continue to service it, and everybody gets a piece along the way. But it's just how finance works. I think it's always kind of worked that way. But at any rate, the North Carolina Attorney General didn't like what I was doing, using the laws and statutes as they're written today, 14-167. I kind of scratched my head about that one, and I thought, well, I guess if I was errands and I had 30 stores across the state, they might look at me different. But I'm a guy with 3 people that I work with. So anyway, in July of 2019, the North Carolina Attorney General correctly sued me in civil court for not having a collection license. So how did I get arrested? Great question. So the North Carolina Attorney General referred the case to the Department of Insurance, who governs collection agencies. Little did I know they were planning on charging me with 82 felonies in 18 counties, along with regular arrests at my home in front of my neighbors. No past precedent for this ever. Find it. You won't find it. Not on Google, not if you go into the courts, because it hasn't happened anywhere. But as I said at the beginning, 33 states require an actual license. The rest, it's kind of just a pond. So why did they send a SWAT team to my house 6 months prior to the arrests? I don't know. I don't have any idea about that. It's those are questions for somebody above my pay grade. I think the Commissioner of Insurance, who governs agencies, regulates them, polices them, whatever you want to call it. They could have just looked real easy and see that I didn't have a license. That's, just, Mr. Engle have a collection? No, he doesn't? Okay. Not sure why you need that kind of an investigation. But anyway, you certainly don't need a SWAT team in a house to do that, I don't think. I'm not sure what they were looking for, honestly. There was nothing here. Now, 6 months later, by February, about 2020, I'm thinking, okay, this is fine. I'm going to pay the normal, whatever it is, $5,000 fine, no business license. I won't collect from North Carolina consumers again. I've been doing that actually since the TRO was signed in 2019, so I'm abiding by all the terms there. But police came to my home February 2020, arrested me. Then a month later, and 2 weeks later, you see where I'm going with this. Fortunately, my attorneys, all 23 of them at this point, made a deal to just put all the charges together and let's do this all at once. Let's not drag this out week after week. I think the Cornelius Police Department were tired of coming down. And, hi, Mr. Engle, should we get coffee before we take you in this time? I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm not going anywhere. I live here. Now, side note, 3 individuals who were not even employees of mine, but they did some work for me, they were also arrested. I don't know what they had to do with a business license, but now 3 young people with no prior record have felony charges on them. They dropped those within about a month. But I'm just like, wow, how does this even happen? But anyway, how did all this end? I pled to 2 felony convictions, got 2 years probation on the criminal side of not having the $1,000 license. I paid $500,000 in legal fees. I'll be sending the state of North Carolina $250,000. I guess that's going to be returned to the customers. And yeah, 3 last real quick important notes that I think it's important just to throw in here. When they did the search, they have a list. I think we've seen some rates on TV, and you kind of know that they give you a list. They put it on your counter, they take a picture of it, and so they do all that. But things they took that weren't on their list were attorney-client privilege documents, my diary. I don't know, strange. Number two, there was a company out of Colorado, collection agency, a very big one called PRG, I think, Pacific Group Resources. I have the info somewhere, but you can look them up that way. They were being investigated at the same time that we were in 2019. And funny, they got a business license 2 months later. Spoke to them. They said, oh yeah, they called and we did that. I don't believe their CEO or any of their employees had their house raided. And third, to our knowledge, to our research, everything that we've looked at, court records, Google, the state of North Carolina has never prosecuted anyone for this, ever. So I'd be interested to be proven wrong on that. So.